At this time, we'll return it to the privilege of the floor. Disrespectful, rude, or disruptive speech or actions will not be tolerated. Such speech and their actions, as well as verbal attacks on any person, may result in the individual without notice forfeiting the remainder of his or her allotted time. Individuals who wish to address the council must state their name and residential address. Individuals will be listed to 3 minutes only. Maximum time for this portion of the meeting shall be 30 minutes. Individuals shall not be permitted to address topics which the council has heard previously on tonight's agenda. Please state your name and address for the record.
I have handouts for the council.
Okay. Again,
Just before my time starts, I want you guys to have the handouts.
I got you. And if you don't mind tilting the mic down some for you so we can hear you. Thank you. You can state your name and address for the record, and the time won't start until...
It's Logan Foster, 1138 College Street.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, thank you.
Okay. Members of council, I ask that
Thank you.
you take these 3 minutes, listen to what I have to say. And I beg that you not call the cops to remove me from the building like Brianna did when I visited the mayor's office on the 14th floor of this very building on Thursday, October 19th. Council, I sent each and every one of you the video from after that encounter and video from during the encounter from when I just started recording. The mayor's staffer, Brianna, in the executive branch verbally accosted me and beat me down while she was working in a public building. To make matters worse, I could not understand why the mayor's staffer would tell me to stop attending city council meetings and how the city council cannot help me and how I need to learn civics, all of which are inappropriate comments from a public staffer. Then upon further research, I found that Brianna is or was earlier this year the campaign manager for the council president. With that said, this very much does have a lot to do with city council. Brianna told me that the city council cannot help me. She told me to stop attending the meetings. She literally yelled at me and accosted me about a dozen of other items that I outlined in an email to all of you, in an email that I have yet to receive a response from any of the 9 counselors in front of me, in which I am supposed to be represented by 4 of you. On top of that, I found out that the mayor's staffer who called armed guards to remove me from this very building doubles as a campaign manager for the council president. Her active Twitter bio currently boasts that fact, a document all of you currently possess in your hands as I speak in front of you. Because the abuse occurred in the office of the executive branch and the abuser is tied to this branch, this is a legislative branch issue. I need 9 counselors to represent me and to condemn the actions on the 14th floor, regardless of any connections you may or may not have, past or present. What transpired was a very serious abuse of power, intimidation, threat, and reprisal from my government. Martin Luther King said, "In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends." Dr. King also said, "There comes a time when silence is betrayal."
Thank you.
If you have any comments.
I don't know if council have any comments, but since I am the, would you call me, petitioner, or I will address you. Nice pictures, by the way, of me. I appreciate that. What I will say, there's no, whether Ms. McCool is my former campaign person or not has nothing to do with your complaint that you have. When you first came to council, I met with you. Your district representative met with you. Mr. Wax met with you. Ms. White met with you. And Mr. Lee, to my knowledge, we all met with you. We immediately had a meeting with the police chief and his chiefs within the next 48 to 72 hours, I believe. You came to the mayor's night out and spoke with the mayor again and with the chief. You also copied us on emails from Chief Skibbins that he said that there were some points that you make that the police department will look into some of those points. You spoke with the mayor then. You went up to the mayor's office, and I'm not going to go beyond what happened at the council, but from that point, I don't know what it is, and I can't speak for the other counselors, for me to do other than when I went to speak with the police about your concerns, which I would do to any citizen, and will continue to do so. But once you went there, I can't make the mayor or any other department head respond to you if they choose not to. So unfortunately, you feel this way, or if you have another complaint now against Ms. McCoo, you need to take it, if you have not, to city legal, because there's a separate branch between the council and the county. And with that being said, when you initially was coming to me, before you started complaining about meetings with the police department, you were still complaining about Mr. Davis. At that point, I told you that no one on council can further discuss anything because you had a formal complaint on file regarding Mr. Davis. So those are the conversations that you and I have had, and those are the conversations that I stand by. And so with that being said, that's my response to you. So if you have any further complaints that you want to address with Ms. McCoo or with the mayor's office or the legal department of the city, you're welcome to do so.
What does that mean, that no one can further discuss anything with me because of a complaint I filed with Mr. Davis? Because I asked the parliamentarian for clarification on that, and he said that was not correct.
The clarification is, if I heard him correctly, and what I just said is when you initially was still complaining about my colleague, you were advised that the council would no longer speak with you. I can't speak for council whether they've responded to you on email for your complaints after that, because we're all independent, other than you're coming here and say again that no one has responded. So that's a council thing that if they were to respond or want to respond, they can. But to my point, and I can only speak for me, I have spoken to you, I've followed up with the police, I've asked you to email with the mayor, I spoke to the mayor said you spoke with him at the mayor's night out, and you're welcome to do so. And I don't know what else to tell you from the council standpoint unless someone else has anything else to add. But
could I ask for clarification, just for the record, that when I spoke to the parliamentarian, I don't know if I'm allowed to address him specifically, but from our conversations, he said that that's not correct, that the council's allowed to speak with me, just not about my complaint about Mr. Davis.
I think we just said the same thing.
Okay,
we
that's
just
not
said
my
that.
Understanding.
No, that's exactly what we're saying, the same thing.
Okay, because I haven't tried to email or ask about a complaint with Mr. Davis. My complaints have been about
I said
legitimate issues.
initially they were,
Okay.
until later you stopped and started whatever your relationship or citizenship is with Mr. Davis. That's your thing. But before then, you were talking about that complaint, and that's when I told you, from this point, the council cannot have any discussion with you about Mr. Davis. Now, if it shifted to something else and no one else responded to you, I can't speak for anyone else on the council. But I laid out the different steps and all the attempts that we've made. I really don't know what else there is that you would like for us to do, because all of us, 4 of us, went down and spoke with the chief, with all of the chiefs, understand that someone came to your home. There's, from a council standpoint, there's nothing else that we can do as far as you want to speak with the mayor.
Well,
And so that would be it. And your time is, I've allowed you to go way past the time. Please state your name and address for the record.
Well, thank you, Don Foster. And it's just as an observation, when Mr. Foster came up to talk, he was talking about someone pressing a panic button and being removed from the mayor's office just for asking for an appointment. And, you know, he just was bringing up that really about a relationship you have and, you know, can you get some help? It's really what he's doing. He's been trying to meet with the mayor. Yes, he had his 5 minutes with the mayor, but that was to ask the mayor for a meeting. and he submitted questions to the mayor. Never was responded. And when he had a chance to talk in front of the press, he tried to bring attention to this and many things, and he's saying to them, you know, I just want a meeting with the mayor. And he said he got his 5 minutes with the mayor. That was just the mayor's night out. That wasn't an official meeting. He was asking for a legitimate meeting from legitimate concerns from a city that's in trouble. If you want to press a panic button, we ought to press a panic button and not be telling everybody that the crime's not up, that the shootings aren't up. It's terrible what's going out there. We all need to do something, not just you. You guys are working hard. The people of the city need to have awareness to know how to help. We need to help the police. We send them in harm's way all the time. And to go ask for a meeting with the mayor, someone shouldn't press a panic button to do that and have them removed by the police. It's ridiculous. We're getting way ahead of ourselves, and we're talking about a lot of things. You talked about a lot of stuff about his past and what he's been doing. He's been reaching out and he's been asking for help. And you went back through a whole path, and so did the young lady that did when he went to get asked for just a meeting. Like, why are you here? Do you have privilege to be here? He's there reaching out. He's trying to do something just like you guys are. We need to help you, and we need to come together as a city, as a people, to come together to help this city. Not just, it just sounds like a lot of blah, blah, blah to me. Back and forth, back and forth. Who said, he said, she said. We got to stop this stuff. We really need to get our act together.
I appreciate your comments, but I think what I wanted to do is lay out what Mr. Foster's concerns were and the steps that were taken. Other than me talking to the chief and talking to my colleagues, I think that was a step and not a lot of blah, blah, blah.
No, we're talking about right now, though. He
But
came to you right now about a
I
panic
cannot
button.
make the mayor
That's
have an
okay.
appointment with him. If you could,
That's okay. I understand that. That's all you need
so
to say.
there's another avenue that I
understand.
told him. I don't know if he reached out to legal or if there's something else that he done. I also saw an email by one of my colleagues said that she sent the information to legal. From that point, there's the council can't make.
Totally understand.
So I appreciate it.
Totally understand that.
And immediately met with him and made appointments with the police department. So there's nothing else I can make.
I totally understand that, and that we're not bringing up
So
today.
I appreciate
He wasn't
that.
either, too, okay? He
Well,
just
thank
wasn't
you.
bringing up that.
I appreciate your time. Is there anyone else? You see anyone in the virtual?
No, there's no one virtually expressing interest to speak in privilege of the floor.
Thank you. With that, this meeting stands adjourned.